Well, hello there. Welcome to the Obi Thorn Alliance. I'm Jacob.
I'm Luke.
And in today's video, we are discussing TV shows versus limited series. Let us know your thoughts about both subject matters. Do you like one over the other? Like and subscribe. It helps out the channel quite a lot. And I guess to start off with, we'll talk about what we like about both of them. Which one do you prefer, or?
It's a hard question to try and separate the two, and I guess that's why we want to discuss them.
Yeah.
If we were to kick off first, let's say with limited series, for instance, some of the things that make a limited series good is the fact that, well, one, they're limited. You know what you're getting into when you watch it. You know that you're not going to be investing into 10 possible seasons. And it's almost like a really long movie in a way, a limited series. What are some other benefits you think of a limited series? What do you like about them?
I feel like the storytellers kind of know that they have the amount of episodes that the producers or the director says that they have, so there's no filler episodes. There's straight to the point, what I think is better sometimes than in TV shows when you get the pointless episodes. In limited series, it's more just better storytelling, so I think that's a positive for limited series. You can say there's a start, middle, and ending, and it wraps up itself generally quite well.
Yeah, it's just a good length, like movies are great, but sometimes because it's 2 hours or so, they've got to cram stuff in and you miss parts. And then with TV series, obviously they want to drag them out because they want it to go for as long as possible. Where the limited series, the agenda's neither of those. They've got time, but not so much time they need to waste it. They can imagine your favorite movie if you were to say, well, we're going to drag it out instead of it being 2 hours to being 8 hours, and we're going to be able to explore the characters a bit more. But not so much that we get sick of them, but just enough to work well. One other thing I think limited series have, because they are limited, the projects are often taken up by sometimes more successful actors.
Yeah.
Because if you're a big name movie star, it's a big gamble saying I'm going to invest in this TV show, because if that TV show could go for a really long time and then that could hurt movies, but a limited series probably takes about the same time as a movie to film. Like, I know it might be a bit longer, but I don't think it would take years to film a limited series. I think they would film it in the same time as a movie or just a bit longer.
Yeah.
So you can get a bit better actors in a limited series, which we've seen in the past.
Like, for example, James Franco in 11/63/22.
Yeah, you can get bigger name actors, I think. Not always the case, but I think it's probably more appealing. I guess limited series, they tend to come a lot from true stories or books.
Yeah.
And I think with that, their background, if it's coming from a book, it's something that's been written by someone that knows how to write. And it's probably being tested and true through people reading the book, and they've said, hey, this is really good, let's make it a movie, or limited series, sorry. Or it is, so it's either, it can be a book, or it's from a true story. So usually true events can be super entertaining because they're factual. So it can be one of the two, and it works really well.
Yeah, like When They See Us, for example, that went for 4 episodes, and you were engaged because you know this was real, and you know, this isn't going to continue longer than it needs to because there's 4 episodes.
Yeah, and it can also be, it's like a documentary, but not. Because obviously it's not real footage, but they can get the actors and the scenes to portray what supposedly happened, but in an entertaining way. Like documentaries can be good, but they might show some real footage and then have interviews, where this is watching a movie unfold almost about something that actually happened. So it's a really cool concept, seeing a limited series when they convert real life events into movies, or limited series, sorry, like big movies basically. What other things do you like about limited series?
I guess that the limited series can range from different subjects and you can watch them quickly as well. You can invest the journey and kind of, it's one and done, but normally they're generally better than the TV show, if that makes sense. Like you generally watch, for example, recently came out Made. It was a very entertaining show about a realistic concept, and you enjoy the book-like storyline, beginning, middle, and end. But a TV show, it rambles all over the place sometimes, but limited series don't do that.
Yeah, and you also don't get to the end of the season and go, oh, I've got to wait a year for the next season to come out, or I wonder if this will get renewed. You know heading into it that it's not. And you have a different perspective at it. But in saying that, that can be a disadvantage of a limited series, because if you really love something, you go, oh, I wish there was more of that. But I guess that's the price you pay. And sometimes because it is a bit more rushed than a TV series, you do get that little less investment in characters. But it depends whether you like the length. Oh, I'm in favour of the limited series, but some people might see it as, oh, well, why would I want to watch something that I know's only got one season? But where I think the opposite, I go, I'd love to watch it because it's only got one season.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Anything else to mention about limited series, or anything you dislike about a limited series?
I guess what sometimes is to dislike is sometimes it might be not your cup of tea. Sometimes the story is not to the liking, or that might just be terrible, and then you might go, well, that wasn't worth telling. So sometimes it might not work out that great.
Can't really think of too many things I dislike about limited series. I guess that's because knowing what to expect, it's hard to dislike something because you know it. You can't go, oh, well, that sucks, it was only one season. It's like, well, it's a limited series, you know that heading into it, you can't hate it. Where a TV series, you could watch it, it could be your favourite series, and then it gets cancelled and you go, well, I didn't see that coming. But you know, like, you can't hate a limited series when you know that that's what's going to come. You know it's a one-off. And I guess being about true events, you also can't go, oh, well, I didn't like the ending of that. Well, it was based on real life, so don't blame the writers for that. That's what happened in real life. You can't hate that because you can't hate the truth. It's. I find it hard to think of any disadvantage of the limited series. Talking about TV series, I'll let you take the lead. Tell me some things you like about a TV series.
I guess what's positive about TV shows is that it tells a journey and it develops the characters over the length of the time, and also we get certain amount of seasons with what's involved with what the storytellers want to do. So I guess they get more time to tell their story, what isn't always a positive or negative. They just get to tell what their story with how they want to tell it.
I think with TV series, I like the fact that they do, because it's drawn out, you do get to know the characters and you really can get a sense of them, whether they're like, I could be friends with this person, I feel like I know this person. Like, there's so many things to like about that, and I guess they can have ongoing jokes and repetitive themes and just really build something special. But I think that's also something that creates a bit of heartbreak. So when a show does get cancelled or it eventually just finishes, you feel like you've lost a part of something.
Yeah.
Like, you think of big shows like Friends or How I Met Your Mother or Big Bang Theory, when they ended, you feel like you've lost those group of friends. The five boys from Big Bang Theory, they're not there anymore, and you felt like a connection to them. So when a show does end, a good show, it creates more heartbreak that, for instance, you don't get with a limited series. I don't feel like you get attached to a character in a limited series. So the best part about a TV series can also be the worst part, that the upsetness of when it does eventually end. I guess there's the mystery of not knowing how many seasons something's going to be can be upsetting. But then the reverse, if someone introduces you to a new show that you haven't seen and it's already finished, I guess you go into it with the same mindset as you do with a limited series because you know what to expect.
Yeah.
I think it can be harder watching something live because, one, you've got to wait weekly for the episode to come out, and then you've got to wait 12 months almost when it finishes. Where if for instance, Jacob recommended me to watch a show called Chuck. He recommended to me, it's finished, it's done many years ago, there's 5 seasons, I know what to expect. I go in there with the expectation that there's 5 seasons of this, just enjoy it for what it is. So it doesn't have that same heartbreak of if I was watching it weekly. And then also I have the choice of when to watch it. And yeah, but as well, I think with TV series, some of them don't age well.
No.
Like sometimes a show can no longer be relevant because it's so old. I think limited series, because they tend to be about true events, I think they would age a bit better.
Yeah.
Because I guess a lot of limited series that come out now, they're about events that could have happened 30 years ago. So that goes to show that they aged. But there's a point where shows like Friends and Seinfeld, you'll look at it and go, what the hell? Like, what, a world before mobile phones and all these technology that we're used to, it may not age very well. So I guess that's one thing. I think limited series can also have rewatchability.
Yeah.
But then TV shows, if they're really good, people watch them forever. Friends, I think, will be forever on replay for some people.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add about TV series?
I guess also the journey and it's the destination with TV shows, but if the ending doesn't support the journey, it's kind of, was it worth it? What with a limited series, generally most of the time they're going to be worth your investment, and you know it's that certain amount of episodes. And I think with the busy world we live in, I just think limited series are better for what people's schedules are. I think, I know for myself, I tend to get more excited for the limited series for some reason. It's like, there's not that, I guess, scared factor of, gotta look up if it's going to get renewed, if it's a season 1, gotta, if it gets renewed for season 2. Like, for example, me and Luke just watched One of Us Is Lying. It ended in a way that if it doesn't get a season 2, but if it was a limited series, that would have been perfect.
Yeah. And I think with a TV series, there's, you said you have that fear that it's going to be cancelled.
Yeah, fear factor.
Yeah, and it can change your expectations. Or you can have a show that can be ruined by a poor season.
Yeah.
Like we reviewed Atypical the other day, and we both agreed that we liked the show, like we really did, but the final season
just changed.
Yeah, it changed it, and it made our view of the show very different. So there can be shows, I think of a show like Seinfeld, that had season after season that was great. But the last episode was almost enough.
That's terrible.
Was almost enough to ruin the show.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
So with a limited series, if they get it wrong, you go, just don't watch it.
Yeah.
But to then turn around and say someone like, you watch 9 seasons of this show, but just ignore the 10th. Like, I can think of plenty of shows where people have recommended them to me, and they're like, watch season 1 and 2, don't worry about 3, and 4's pretty good. And you're like, that doesn't happen with a limited series. You're not getting told to skip seasons because they don't think it was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to compare the two. Where do you lean towards? Like, what is your preference?
I would say a limited series. I get more invested and excited. I guess that it hasn't got that fear factor because it's telling a story. It knows it needs to conclude. What with a new TV show, if it doesn't get renewed, it's like, oh well, it generally ends with a cliffhanger because these days you gotta end with cliffhangers and not end with a conclusion and leave it open for a season 2. What limited series end with a good ending?
I'm the same. I think I definitely move towards liking limited series. That I guess they're a newer concept now. Oh, by a different name. I guess in the past they've always existed, but they would call them like telemovie events, where they'd be like, it was just the same thing. They just show one episode a week for like 4 weeks, but they're just becoming more and more common and like bigger budgets. So yeah, I definitely think that that's my preference, and I get really excited when I hear a concept of a show and someone says it's a limited series, or when I hear that they're making like think of Marvel, for instance, when they talk about their content on Disney Plus, they often are like, "Yep, this is a limited series," and I really get excited by that. They're like, "Oh, WandaVision, it's one-off, it's a limited series," and they say, "Oh, well, like Hawkeye, this is going to be a limited series." I get more excited about watching it when I hear that it's a limited series, because if you try and drag something out for too many seasons, I feel like it just can really get wrong. Where if you got one season to get it right, I tend to think that they get it right, because they don't try and overplay their hand.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, thank you for helping, Luke. Hope you found the discussion interesting and take some meaning. Like and subscribe. Let the force be with you. See you in the next video. Bye bye.